Hi guys, guess we'll get back into the reassembly here. The other video was running pretty long, so I think it turned out about 45 minutes. So we'll get into this one, try to get a little further along. I've just really been amazed at the interest in the Lawn Boy series. I never even thought about uh, that. In some cases, it's drawing a few more people than viewers than some of the motorcycle stuff. So let's get on with it here. Let's see what we can do. We had just finished putting um, the crankshaft in, and I've given it a little shot of lubricant in the oil holes and whatnot, so that's ready to go. And we've got a gasket here, and make sure our holes, lubricant holes, all line up. And the carburetor has got a little rod here that goes up into the armature plate. So we've got to get that fished up through there, just like that. Try to keep our gasket in line. Yeah, I've just been amazed. I always kind of did some looking around for Lawn Boy stuff on YouTube, and uh, there's quite a bit on there, but it's not so much meat and potatoes um, engine work or anything like that. You know, I see rebuilding a carburetor or something like that maybe on there, but it's pretty slim pickings for the most part. Oops, I may have to do something different here. I think if I just raise this up and get it. Nope. Hang on, let me back up here, and I'm going to have to pull that back up so I can get to it. Okay, just for your information, the bolt right here that I'm pointing at, button next to the rod, that one has to be in place before you set the plate in. There's just not enough room for the rod and that to go through at the same time. So just for your information, if you're doing one of these. All right, so much for that. Let's rotate it up here. Okay, let's get our condenser in there. new set of points. We'll put a little contact cleaner here on the rag. A lot of these points are shipped in with some grease or something on the contacts to keep them from rusting. So we'll just make sure we get that off. This one fits down like such. Goes down over that, and as you're going down, you got to get the spring located in there on the condenser. And we're going to have to watch this as we put in the rest of the components here. I may actually have to leave that out for a little while. We'll see. We'll see. Old fat fingers. I have to get my cheater screwdriver. Yep, they come in handy from time to time. Okay, this next step can be kind of a hard thing to do sometimes. You need a lot more fingers, smaller ones than I've got. First you've got to move the points out of the way and then slide these two pieces down. They've got a key here. This is the cam for the points, and it fits right there in that groove, so you can't really mess it up. And then you push the points in, or out rather, so then you can drop it down on the cam. The next stuff here is can be kind of troublesome. You get the rod here with the keeper in, out, and the small end right here of this flyweight has got to be lined up with the keyway on the crankshaft. So we're going in with this. Let's see, I believe this has got to go on there first. Nah, I've done that. I've tried that before. That doesn't do much for it. Okay, we just kind of leave it tilted here until we get our spring started. See, this other end of this is going to go into a groove underneath this flyweight. Okay, so we just hold on to everything, so get that up there. I've got to get that in there first. Just got to push this spring back, slide it back on that pin. Until it's inside here. push in and lift up, and then push the pin on in all the way through where it comes out back here. Kind of let it slide too far. Yep, let it slide in too far. And let me get it off. Alright, I got it back in there. Probably not for long, but it is. Okay. I'm going to reach in here with a little vice grip. Maybe. I'm sure some of you folks that have more experience with this can help me out with this. Okay, so I've got it slid back now, and I've got the hairpin with my pliers here, and I'm just going to slide it back until I can snap it down on there. There it is. There, I think that's it. Yep. It was a challenge, but we were up to it. Okay. Now we can see, there's the wide spot. And it tells you right here, set point gap to 20 thousandths. So that's what we'll do. Okay, and we'll looks right. And don't forget to put some cam grease on the cam. I've got some I've been carrying around for probably 40 years. You don't need much. Just kind of spread it out on the cam follower there. And as the points come around, the phenolic block on them will pick it up, and that's to lubricate it. All right. All right. I think we've got all this. We've got to tighten up the little nut here on the condenser. Just kind of a strange, it's 11:30 seconds. Don't use that very often. Okay, looks like I think we've got everything in there that we need in. Next item is going to be the plate, cover plate. We've got this little rod here that you kind of got to hold down. Oops, nope, I got that wrong. This has got to go this way. Yeah, because the rod goes underneath the lever. Oops. You know what? I'm not ready to put that on yet. We've got the Magneto, the coil, and that's got to go on the same, getting ahead of myself. I heard somebody out there yelling at me, put your coil wire in there. So we're going to get our 11:30 seconds back here. Nut off. And that's going to come through there. So let me get these. I'm thinking that's upside down. Yep, that looks mo better. Get the ground hooked up. Alright, then this wire goes down through the little hole right there. And over here to the condenser. And make sure that none of the wire is touching the case. There I am with my oversized fingers trying to do this. Probably should have put it in there before I put the points in. thinking now that, yeah, I think that's where it was, because it's kind of, yeah, I think so. Shouldn't touch anything there. It's kind of the formation of the way the wire wants to go. Points, double check. Yep, 20 thousandths. Okay, now we've got all the parts in there. You know, I just don't know. I think I'm going to reroute that to come in underneath. Yeah, let me do that. All right, that's what I did. I ran the wire down underneath here. There's nothing that it can get into, and it's out of the way a little better. All right, so now we'll press on. When you don't do something very often, you kind of got to sit back and look at it once in a while and see how it was assembled. All right, and we've got some other stuff here to put together. This piece has got to go in here. Just like that. And we have a spring and a shim, and then all this, let's see, this goes toward the key. You see where it says key right there. The key kind of holds it in there. There we go. Everything's free, and now this model doesn't get the spring on it. I forget where the cutoff is, but I think it's like 440 or 450 or something. Gets a spring down to here. This one doesn't do it. Okay, it's time to put the recoil back in. This can be kind of tricky. The spring has got to go in first, and it's the guide for keeps the rope from coming off the drum here. And you got to do a couple things. You got to get this pinion spring between right here, and you've got to get this in with the serrated edge there towards the up in the groove rather. So this is probably the best way to do this. Just put this little clip on here like this, and don't worry too much about that rope for now. Just try to keep it out of your way. Sneak it in there. Okay, we've got the pinion spring located, and we've got the guide in place. Now you take the retainer, and snug it up. Now you can always just hold this rope down into the spool there, and just rotate it around until you got a little, let's see, got to figure out which way it goes here. Get a little preload on the spring. Of course, it's being unruly here because I'm trying to tape this. Alright, so there it is. Just pull you out enough so you can hang on to it and stick it through the hole here. I'm just take a vice grip and so it can't get back in there. And I see I've got it around the guide there, so you got to get it poked in there. Okay, so that's ready to go. So now I'll put it back in the stand. We'll get the flywheel on, and we'll put the knob on it. Okay, we're back over to the stand, and I'm going to go ahead and tie the handle on here, because as you know, that will go through the hole in the shroud, so it's not a problem. Just one little overhand knot should do it. There we go. Now, a couple things on this governor assembly here. It says key right here on this part of the governor contraption here, so you need to have the key situated like that. And the reason for that is you've got two little dimples here on it. Those dimples, one of them is going to go right here. You can kind of see on the flywheel where it's kind of got into it a time or two, and the same over here. That's where those dimples are going to go, and that's going to lock this up so that it can do its job as governing the speed. Okay, no spring on this model. Some of them do have one. Another thing to take a look at is the let's see, the orientation of the key. If I can get you close. See how I've got it sticking kind of straight up? That's what you want. You don't want it into the crankshaft where it's at an angle. You want it as straight up and down as you can get it, and the flywheel still goes on. So that's what we're going to do now. And you want to, it makes it easier if you can get the magnets away from the coil over here when you put this on. So I'm going to move it to right about there. I believe that should get me out of that range. Keeps it from sticking. All right, so we're going to there. Now you can see the key. It's out into the groove here, and it will be down where it's where it meets the crankshaft too in the taper. It's where it ought to be. That's the proper way. And it gets a lock washer and a nut. There's a torque on it. I'm going to look that up and get it torqued. I want to say it's 330 inch-pounds or something. Next thing we need to do is to get a gap adjusted between the flywheel and the coil, and you can do that just with a thin piece of card. The official gap is 10 thousandths. This piece of card is about 11, so it's a little more than it should be, but it's not that critical. You just loosen these up. Actually, let's tighten them back up here. Move the magnets over here, right there. Slide your card in and then loosen it, and you see how the magnets just drew that right in. And tighten that up. And then just turn it and rotate your card out. This is carburetor. All this sucking noise is going on over here. Okay. And it works fine. Let me check the torque on this real quick. Okay, it's 350 inch-pounds. It's actually 330 to 370. I'm going to go at 350. And I use a little wrench here to hold the flywheel. And there it is. Torqued up. So everything should be good here. We can get our little screen on here. I had a dickens time finding new screws for these, so I wasn't able to get them, so I just replated them. I actually do have a video on the motorcycle stuff about replating with cadmium and nickel both, I believe. So if you're interested, you can go back and look at some of that. Sometimes you just can't find what you need, so you have to do the best you can. I'm going to have to raise you up and get you out of my way here a little bit. My screwdriver was too long. smacking you in the face. And we're looking at the air cleaner here now. We've got a gasket here, and you want to make sure you've got a hole for your air bleed here, otherwise this is not going to run. So you get your gasket on there, then your air cleaner, and then the reinforcement for the air cleaner. And then they've got a couple of screws. Let me get my little nifty locking screwdriver again here. Just makes it a lot easier when you're trying to get down into a space like that. My old fat fingers won't work. You ever seen one of these that you just kind of turn it and lock it? Then you put your screw on there, and they make it for Phillips too. And then push it and it locks the screw onto it. Pretty clever idea. And then as you tighten it up, it releases. You know, be careful on all these, because you can't tighten it very tight on any of this stuff because of it's all made of aluminum. It just won't take it. All right, I don't have a proper air cleaner for it, but I've been using it, and I just kind of wad it up and stick it in there. I've got it oil soaked. It seems to breathe okay through that. With your little screen, just push it down in with it, and your retainer, just like that. And we've got the primer, and the turn off goes right here, and as this spins around and hits this screw, I don't know if you can see that or not, screw right here, that's going to shut it off. So this is going to be on, and then this is of course priming. So I'm kind of down to all I can do right now. I've still got a exhaust gasket on order, this little guy right here. So I'm not going to be able to put it on and get it going yet. So, and I've still got to do a little touch up on my shroud. But other than that, that's pretty much the reassembly. I may can this one, and when I get the exhaust part, the exhaust gasket, so I can go ahead and put it on the mower and fire it up. That may be what I do. Let's see if we've got spark here now. You see that? Looks like it's good to me. Okay, your spark plug gap on all these is 25. So I just have a spark plug gapper there, and I just push it up to 25. There it be. All right, thanks for joining me.